welcome to Shadowrun: The Road to Chaos. This is a slightly different stream today. We're doing a player character to non-player character RP. Um, some of the players wanted to delve a bit more into some of their contacts and their backstories, and I felt that was a very good idea as well, since it gives a bit more flavour. Gets to see the heroes behind the masks, so to speak, and get to know, and also makes me feel really good because every single NPC has a backstory, including the guy that they beat up in the last couple of episodes. Poor guy, poor guy. So much.
He deserved everything he got.
Totally, absolutely. So, uh, today it's just me and Arcade Valentine playing Jean Philippe. Uh, introduce your character, just for anyone who's jumping in on stream this late.
So, I guess the most important thing to know if you're jumping in the stream this late is my character Jean Philippe. He's from Paris originally, from France. He's obviously hopped over to London just because of some things in his backstory, which is again sort of the stuff we'll be looking into now. So he's a charismatic sort of face character, and he's just probably the most outrageous Frenchman you'll ever meet.
Yep, he's not lying about that one. Um, so you've Jean, jumping straight into the RP now. Um, you step outside of the Three Banners after you have just met um, a rather raucous wolf character and a rather upstanding and very stiff sort of Bastion. Um, it is tipping it down with rain. It is thundering it down with rain. Um, I presume you make your way back home after this rather impromptu meeting.
Indeed, I do. All the way thinking to myself how awful a country England is that it rains so heavily.
So you come to your abode. So some little old lady, she's moved over to Spain for a bit, and she rents the house out, and she seems perfectly fine with you uh, living there, and thought it was endearing that your brother was learning to do his craft, so gave permission for him to set up shop in the garage, since neither of you drive. You get to this rather old looking, well, even by your standards, this building is not old. It just is made to look old. Uh, Maybe around, uh, uh, early 1800s sort of look. Um,
Hmm.
Fake thatched roof, if possible, but it's really, really quite fake. But there is a few solar panels on the roof, if cracked. Uh, it's sort of a weird mix between the modern and the non-modern. They've tried to they've tried to bring London back to the good old days. Uh, you you approach the house. Is there any particular things you do approaching the house, or do you just run in to keep yourself as dry as possible?
Yeah, I mean, I mostly just sort of hurry in, try and get away from the rain as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So you get in, and you open the wooden door and close it behind you, stamping your feet a little bit as rain just sort of drips off your lovely suit. Fortunately, your piano, which you've rolled up into a little piano roll, that's been put in a nice waterproof case, so you're not too worried about that. Um, but yeah, as you go in, it's again, it's one of those people who have tried to make it look old. So there's old leather, fake leather chairs. There's a fireplace in the living room. Um, even the mirror, which whilst it's supposed to be a mirror, it's also a little bit of it's a video communication device.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you do as you step through the door?
So the first thing I do is the first thing I normally do when I step through the door into my house, and as I just loudly announce, "Hello, Brazil, I am home."
Uh, you don't get a reply straight away. Um, but then again, there's quite a possibility that maybe he's elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I just think to myself, this is the sort of thing that usually happens. First thing I do is I go into the garage. That's where he set up his sort of medical stuff, and I just sort of pop my head in, see if he's in there.
So yeah, you open the door to the garage. It's surprisingly cold in there. Like the rest of the house is, being kept warm by a fire, which your brother's been keeping very well. He's not particularly good at finding jobs, so he feels the need to look after the house as much as possible. And it's surprisingly cold where he is. Uh, and you see your brother sort of slumped over a desk, uh, presumably asleep.
I just sort of, I have a look around. I sort of get quiet, see if he's actually asleep, and just sort of, yeah, just have a look, just check he's all right, just check he's got everything he needs, and then as long as he's fine, I'll head into the kitchen, make myself something to eat.
Um, since you said that we can do perception checks and rolls in this, why not do a roll for perception?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Okay, yeah, you've still
Three
got
hits, Misty.
you've got a bit of rain in your eye, but you see well enough that uh, your brother's sleeping in the most awkward position possible. He obviously was doing something and then sort of either knocked himself out with something or just completely fell asleep at his desk. Um, he's sort of at that awkward angle where somehow he has not fallen off his chair, but you think that he could possibly fall out of his chair at any moment. You're not entirely sure. Everything apart from that desk is meticulously neat.
Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll sort of grab a blanket because I know we keep a couple of blankets around because he seems to sort of fall asleep all over the place. And I'll just sort of carefully try and move him onto a bit more of a secure place for him to lie down and sort of tuck him in and that without trying not to wake him up.
Um, funny enough, you know what? Make a sleight of hand check if you've got that, or sneaking to see if.
Sleight of hand I'll make. I'm very good at sleight of hand.
Oh yeah, I need to actually roll against him. Because funny enough, your brother's actually pretty good at sleight of hand.
Wait, let me just check if it. Yeah, I think it would only be that many because it's not pickpocketing.
Oh yes, he will be rolling his dice so you can see them. However, I will not be rolling my dice so you can see
Yeah,
them.
so that's 5 hits and 1 miss, I believe.
Nope. You wake him up. He bolts upright and looks around, sort of blinking his eyes, realizing, oh, there's a blanket on me. Okay. And he looks around. He goes, and he sees you. Like, oh, sorry. Hi. And he sort of waves at you, sort of really quite out of
Hello.
it.
You do not need to apologize for falling asleep. That is something you need to do more of. I'm sorry I woke you.
Make another perception check now that he's actually awake.
Yep, sure thing. Whoops, I almost gave myself 12 dice instead of 9 then. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Let's see, 1, 2... Yeah, 2 hits, 2 misses.
Okay. look at taking into account of your previous role. Um, do you look around and do you notice your brother is there's something off about him. Um, there's a couple of things you don't recognise on his desk, namely, there's a couple of bits of paper which don't seem right. There's a new pen and there's an inhaler of some sort. Um, and there's a few pills around.
Okay, I think the first thing I'll do is I'll just sort of have a look at the pills and the inhaler, just check sort of what they are, see if if they're just some sort of incomprehensible medical thing, or if there's some form of street drug that I would recognise.
Okay, yep, that's fair.
No, another perception check.
Go on then, do another perception check. I don't think you have any knowledge in street drugs.
Not any sort of particular knowledge, no.
Okay, so you got
Yeah, 4 hits, I think.
cool.
No misses.
I'm also gonna get you to make a memory check. Considering the fact that you've probably helped your brother occasionally wrestle a person into the shop or whatever. So you've been around medical stuff for quite a while.
Right, 1 second. Memory check. Gonna have to help me out on that one.
Okay, so
What would I?
it's right on your skills page, and your memory check is 9 dice.
Okay, right. Okay, so 96.
Okay, yeah, combining those rolls. So you recognise the pills. One of them is usual sort of nitol sort of thing. Other herbal drugs are available, by the way.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, no, not quite yet.
Call us. Call us.
Yeah, totes. But it's a sort of herbal remedy to get some sleep. The other one is pain relief. The inhaler does not have a mark on it, which is odd. Because usually the little bottle has some sort of script on it to say what it is or usage. Doesn't have that on it.
Okay, I turn to my brother and say, "Brother, what is this inhaler?"
He immediately goes very, very, caught red-handed, meek sort of face. Yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. It's. He knows he can't pull the wool over your eyes, and he's just stuttering, and he's not looking you in the eye. Before eventually he gets out through his stuttering. It's been a bad day.
How much? How much? What is it, and how much did you take?
It's just one hit, just one hit. It's it's Jazz.
Okay. And you are the doctor. If I had come to you and I had taken this hit of jazz, what would you be saying to me right now?
I've been feeling sorry for you. Yeah. He sort of rubs his face where he had been sort of crashed on the counter. I've been trying, brother. I've been trying. It's just been really, since that thing. It's so difficult to not do it.
I know, brother, I know, I understand, but this jazz, it will not. You're a doctor, you know these things. Do not want to have gone through all this stuff just to lose you to jazz.
Trust me, I haven't had. He sort of stops his breath a bit. trying to sort of collect his thoughts and speak more clearly. Um, I'm not going to continue doing the stutter for the stream, just because I feel like I just can't do the stutter properly very well. But he's got a very this gentleman here has a very strong stutter when he speaks.
Yeah. Essentially, with the character, he has a strong stutter, and basically, it's quite strong in general. But just imagine to yourselves, any time that he's in a more awkward situation or he's more nervous, he's just going to sort of stutter more and more.
Yep. Or when certain names are mentioned. Ha 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 ha.
Well, yes, I'm sure we'll get to that.
Um. So yeah. Um. He goes, look, I last time I had a hit was, that was like 3 weeks ago. Uh, I and I've been really good, and it was fine, and I was dealing with it. And then we had one of the army officers come in here, and he had a bit of shrapnel in his tucker, so I took it out, and it fell out of his pocket. Those army dudes, they have a lot of jazz, and I was like, I sort of put it in my drawer, just thinking, maybe it'd make a good um, accelerant. Maybe it'd work like adrenaline occasionally on those times when we can't get it. Unfortunately,
Brother,
yeah.
you know that anything like that you are to give to me. You know why you put it in that drawer. You can say to yourself, oh, I wanted an accelerant, but you made a poor choice. I am not angry at you, but you know you must not make these decisions, because once you decide, oh, I'll hide that away, then you will make another decision to do what you have done.
Yeah, he goes meek, and he's like, "Trust me, my body doesn't regret it. My brain regrets it. The side effects are, they're not exactly the most pretty side effects. You see, I don't think you saw me on that third one. Did you see me on the third one? He's trying to now he's going into diagnosis mode. He's trying to think back to like whether you were there for like the last time he took a hit. Um, were you there for the last time he took a hit?
No, I wasn't. I was busy. I said to him, no, I didn't. I was busy saving up the money so we could live in this house.
He immediately dog being told it's a bad boy. Like if he had ears, they would be flat to his head. Or if he had dog ears, they'd be flat to his head. Uh, he, he's like, yeah, I know. Trust me. It wasn't my choice, and you know, I wouldn't. If I could afford the rehab, I'd do it. I can't afford the rehab at the moment. But I'm really trying, alright? I'm really trying. And
I
I thought
understand.
these would help. And he does point to the herbal sleeping remedy. He's like, I haven't got the big guns out. I thought if I got these, I could take those, and there'd be a lighter version. Maybe that would calm the tics and the shakes. Uh, I It worked a bit too slowly, and I ended up falling asleep on my desk. It seems.
It's
To that
okay,
he always
Professor.
smirks to himself, just thinking, ugh, what am I going to do with myself?
I just turn to him and say, it is okay, brother. I understand you are trying. I understand you are trying your hardest. But you need to remember, you do have a choice in this. With these things, you don't have a choice when it's right in front of you in that moment. I understand. But you have a choice in every single step leading up to that. As soon as you see something like that, you need to get it as far away from you as possible.
I promise I haven't looked for it. I haven't looked for it, brother.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's the first step. But the second step is now when it comes to you. You need to find the strength in yourself to get away.
I'll do my best, brother. I'll do my best.
Okay,
And
that is all I can ask.
And he goes, well, fortunately, this inhaler's spent anyway. Fortunately, there are only one
Cool.
hits. You can't get you can't get more than that out of one of these little ones, unless you get the
Well,
helmets.
well, regardless, I will be keeping this. I don't think you need a visual cue around.
Nope. And he slides it directly towards you. Am I allowed to keep these?
Uh,
And he holds up the herbal versions.
yes, you can keep them for now. I don't think that's too much of a problem. See how they go for you, but
Well, it
the
tastes like
most
hell
important
anyway.
well, the most important thing is communication. If you think they are not working, if you think they are making things worse, you must let me know. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if like this was like this morning when you went out for like your when you went out for food and then you went to the Free Banners, yeah, to do your gig.
Yes, yes. Well, actually, it's quite interesting what happens there. I went out to obviously do my gigs there, my regular stuff. I found another job, so that's quite good. I might have to go for a little bit, but it should only take a day,
It's
two
it's
at most.
it's not like that other job, is it?
Oh no, no, no! It's much simpler than that. No violence, no sneaking about, nothing dangerous. It's professional work. It's simple environment, no criminality, no risk. It's fine.
Good,
It's
good.
bit of an odd fellow. Bit of an odd fellow who introduced me to the job. A bit of a loose cannon, I suppose, but I don't think he'll be a problem.
Isn't that just kind of most of the people you work with? And he smirks.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. It's just interesting, brother, how I find these jobs. This man, he comes up to me and he starts insulting our glorious country and
How
wants to
dare you?
fight everyone in the bar.
Is he drunk?
Oh, he's incredibly drunk. I mean, who isn't? It's a bar. But even more drunk than the usuals.
Uh, again, it's a runner bar. I'm surprised that you didn't find that sooner.
Well, no, absolutely, absolutely. But he's come along. Apparently, he's in the army, and the army want us to do a little test course. So,
Mm.
I don't see any problems. It's a little bit physical for my liking, but I made sure that I don't have to pass the course. So I'll definitely get paid. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I don't think he'd survive one of those army courses. And he pokes you in the side affectionately.
Well, let's just hope there's not too much swimming and swinging and all that stuff. I've never been that good at it.
No, if I remember rightly, you fell into a certain river at one point. That was fun. I had to pull you out, and then end up falling in the river myself. And then Muggy happened.
Yes, it's quite fortunate that Muggy was able to get us out of the Seine.
Yeah, at the same
Yeah,
time
it's a
as him
much.
insulting literally everyone around as well.
Oh, I'm sure, but it's a much stronger current than it looks.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you were always more of a paddler. Um,
I'm not even sure it goes that far.
well, you need muscles like me, brother. And whilst he's a little bit stronger than you, perhaps he's not that much stronger than you. He's only stronger than you because he's had to like maybe strap the occasional patient down to a table. Um, you know that sort of physicality. That and he can't really get a real job because getting a license is like an absolute nightmare. So he has nothing better to do.
I just sort of chuckle to myself and say, "Oh, brother, I think between the two of us, we almost make a normal strength human."
And he just raucously laughs at that. Um, he goes, "Oh, maybe one day we'll get cyberware, or maybe one day we'll go to a gym. Maybe we'll do both."
Well, I can tell you, we're definitely not going to any gym anytime soon.
Oh, you so
Well, I'm
you
not.
prefer cyberware then?
Well, I don't really like the idea of either, but
I'm sure I can find some
perhaps we
chrome.
do need to do something.
Uh, no, I have been looking. I have been looking up a one of those regulators for sleep, but oh gosh, they're so expensive. Maybe one day I will sleep properly.
How much are they, brother?
And he just sort of gestures in a sort of too much sort of way. Um, sort of most because it's not cyberware, it's bioware.
Hmm.
So it's not just a bit of shiny metal that we put that you can put in someone. It's something that has to be partially grown from your own cells. And he prattles on for a little bit about bioware and how it's got to mesh with the body correctly. He sort of comes up with a figure with 3 zeros attached to it.
Oh boy, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Who knows? Perhaps I'll be able to steal one eventually. I don't think we'll ever be able to pay for one.
Only problem, doctors, surgery on themselves, probably not a good plan. And you? Well, I'm a field medic. You're a first aider. This is not going to go well.
Yes, I think perhaps we'd need to find someone else to do the operation. Maybe we should just give up on the plan entirely.
Yeah. He sort of then stops. He stops laughing like really suddenly, as if he's remembered something. He's like, "Ah, brother, come with me!" And he grabs you by the wrist, and he literally bolts through to the kitchen, dragging you behind him. It's like past the fire, and he goes into a rather modern-looking kitchen. Um, and he's like, and before he stops you in front of the counter, and there's something covered, with like a drape. I made a thing.
You made this thing, did you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, come
Hopefully
on.
edible. And he reveals, and
Ooh.
it's cake, which says, "Yay for new home." And it's got like it's a little, it's just about manageable to notice that it's a house shape. It looks like it's been drawn by like a 5-year-old child. For a surgeon, he is not a drawer.
That is just brilliant, brother. You continue to amaze me. Wonderful.
Do you want a piece?
I would do, yes, I would love some.
He cuts it open and he hands you a slice. It's like a proper large slice of cake because the French, they like cake, like they should, by the way.
But of course.
And it's probably one of the few edible things your brother has ever actually made. You feel like he has maybe used something called a recipe this time. Yay!
I turned to him and said, brother, you always were quite into the cooking and the shows and the chefs and the kitchens. Do you think you could sort of tell me a little bit about it and teach me a little about how I could pretend to be a chef? Something I might have to do tomorrow.
I'm not much of a chef. You've tasted my cooking, and you're asking me for cooking advice?
Well, not really cooking advice, but you watch the programs, you know the words, you know the things. I just perhaps this evening, if you could go over it with me some other time before I leave tomorrow.
Okay, well, you should totally watch Sebi. And
Sebi.
yeah, it's Zebi with a Z at the beginning because he thinks he's cool, but he's like, it's kind of a bit sweary, but if you can get past the sweary, he's not bad. He's British, but
Ugh.
yeah,
Well, I will watch this Zebi.
yeah. Well, he can't do much, but he does cook decent thing. This is kind of his recipe.
Oh, okay. So he's a sort of a dessert chef, and this is very nice, by the way, Rosa. It's one of the better things you've cooked.
Yeah, that souffle did not turn out like a souffle. I,
No, no, it did not.
I think we ended up calling it a pancake and calling it a day or waffle.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Actually, I think wasn't that what we did? We took the souffle, we put it in a waffle iron to see whether it would waffle. It wasn't too bad.
Pretty much. We sort of came up with something about we put some waffles on each other. It was about halfway between a waffle and a crepe.
Yeah, he sort of you can see him almost plotting his next genius idea. Uh, he turns to you and he goes back into his slightly more serious surgeon look, and he goes, so you're out all of when?
So I will be out all day tomorrow. I'm meeting them at about. So if I'm starting at sort of 10 p.m. I might be around in the morning, but I want to get out pretty early. We're meeting up sort of down at the Three Banners, going over the plan. So I'm pretty much out all day tomorrow, and then I'm not sure how long this will last, but at most it will be a day and a bit. So I should be back sometime tomorrow evening at the late.
Okay, that's
No,
cool.
no, not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow evening at the latest.
Okay, that's cool. There's a client, and yeah, it's awkward. I'm not entirely sure how this is gonna work, but she needs help, so I'm gonna have to work out how to talk in front of her.
Right. Okay. So what does she need? What's going? What?
Personal stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Just don't mess up the house too much.
No, not that personal stuff. And he just does the damn it, why am I a surgeon face. It's like, no, brother. I
I
no.
know, brother. I know. I am only teasing.
Next time now you're gonna be bringing up. And he sort of mumbles to himself because he knows full well that you'll probably dig him into a hole regarding something or other. I'm guessing she was at your gig.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Usually is.
I tell her I say hi in as few
But of
stutters as
course.
possible.
What do you think? Shall I go up and just say hello with a stutter so she knows it's from you?
Damn it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't tease. It's mean.
It's all right. I can just blow away with a desk fan. It's fine.
Careful. I think the death flying would outclass both of us. Wouldn't want to lose the house to a desk fan.
It's all right. I can still sit on a human's chest and keep them down in surgery. So I can handle a desk fan.
Well, that is good to know. If there are any of desk fan clients that need to be sorted out, I will give you a call.
Indeed. I still have no idea how I'm going to deal with the woman. I can barely talk at the best of times, and then I have to do that.
Maybe you could write it down.
I am tempted to get text to speech on my Metalink purely for this.
Oh, oh, brother, oh, brother. And I just sort of shake my head.
Go eat your cake, you French idiot.
Whatever, you Vietnamese fool.
And just as you're saying this, an almighty hammering at the garage door occurs.
Right, with sort of one hand ready for my weapon, I just sort of run up to the door and open it up, assuming it's probably just an emergency, but just in case.
Assuming it's just an emergency. um,
Well, like emergency medical, all that sort of thing.
yeah. Your brother looks confused. He's obviously not expecting somebody to arrive, but he gets down there, puts his coat on, and you open it up, and it's a very very small person, like really small, 13-year-old maybe, um, and she is carrying she's carrying a small bundle of something, small bundle of something. You have and she looks up at you and spots that your hand is at the gun, and she's like, "Didn't think there was going to be any fighting involved."
Don't worry, the only fighting will be if you start it. I'm not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
How can we help?
Well, I noticed that your Dien, you just started here. We don't have much, but maybe I can. She sort of gestures towards the makeshift sort of mini hospital, and your brother sort of gestures her in. Um, I, if you want to make a perception check on this person, you can.
I do. Just sort of as she gets ready to go in, I'll just have a look at her, especially particularly at that bundle, just to check that everything sort of nothing untoward is. She's got nothing untoward with her, or nothing particularly harmful about her.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so let's see. 1 hit, 2 hit, 4 hits, 2 misses.
Okay. So she's a 13-year-old girl, but she seems to carry herself in a rather more proper fashion, like somebody who perhaps was a lot older than they actually are, or maybe they've been to an etiquette school. They hold themselves quite well. Um, at her side, she does in fact have a small gun. But then again, who doesn't in this day and age? Um, she has a small survival knife at her other side. At the moment, she's got this bluey purpley hair, like really purpley bluey hair, with a small plait that goes down the back. Um, she looks kitted. It's kind of adorable to you as a person who has been shadow running for quite a while. It's kind of adorable to see this 13-year-old girl dressed kind of in like proper running trousers and like things that you would wear on a run. Um, the bundle itself, it's sort of in one of those satchels that you carry, all sorts of things. You can't actually see anything at first glance. It doesn't look like there's a gun in there. It doesn't look like there's anything nasty in there. But then again, you don't know what's in there. It's not
Okay, I'll just
obvious.
quickly. Oh, go on.
It's not immediately obvious what's in the bag.
Okay, and I'll just quickly judge her intentions as well.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, and again, that is 1 miss, 1. 2 hits, 1 miss.
I need to do
2 hits, 2 miss. Sorry.
Okay. Yep. You can glean a little bit off her. She seems very focused on what she was doing. She seems like a fairly genuine sort of person. If guarded, very guarded sort of person. She is regarding you with a look of suspicion, a little bit of apprehension, perhaps. She's not entirely sure what to make of you.
Okay, well, I make sort of. Oh, go on.
Yeah, she makes her way towards the sort of the bed which they've got for patients.
Yeah, I make no sort of effort to stop her or anything like that. I'm just sort of watching, sort of keenly aware and just ready to do anything. But just, watching what's going on.
Uh, you with the twitchy hand. Go. You might want to close the door. This is not. I wouldn't suggest keeping the door open when there's drugs.
That's a very good point. I closed the door.
Yeah, she Sorry, guest star everyone. My mother. um,
We'll cut it in post.
yeah. So she goes over to the bed, and as you close the door, she waits until the door is closed before she pulls out a myriad of bottles, and there's a whole load of needles and syringes and medical equipment of a sort of low field medic sort of level. We felt like you could possibly do with these. We don't have much, but we thought you could use it. Your brother is just so baffled by the situation and so confused as to why this 13-year-old girl is suddenly uh, giving him a whole heap of drugs and needles and all sorts. Um, yeah, he's just sort of he's trying to say the word thank you, but he's stuttering too much. And he's just confused. And in the end, he just
I sort
gestures towards you to talk to the girl.
obviously I just say my brother would like to thank you for these, and I would also thank you. So, where did you boost them from? Where did you steal them?
Who says I steal anything? I didn't steal
No
anything.
one says anything, but it is quite interesting for a girl your age to have such a well-stocked medicine cabinet.
She
I don't care. I just want to know if any trouble is going to come.
she both sighs deeply and also laughs when you mention age. Uh, but she doesn't put forward any particular. She doesn't put forward any information as to why she's laughing at that, but she seems to find it very funny. Um, but she sort of lines them up and she goes, "Well, uh, I help a friend with a clinic of his own. Um, I'm not much of a medic, but I do know how what goes where and how to do things. Um, and I know how the struggle is with trying to get supplies to places like us, which do treatment for less. Um, we're a bit we're a bit more advanced. You know, we're a proper street doc, but you look like you. I've seen some of your work pass through ours, and it looks good. So, if you come across anything extra, pass it to us, and if we have anything extra, we can pass it to you."
Okay, a little bit of let's help each other out. This is perfectly fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Um, she pulls her knife and she starts expertly opening boxes. Like she's obviously quite well attuned to using weapons. Um, Also, you would notice at this point as she sort of scrapes the hair back as she's sort of helping your brother organize the. There's a huge number of bottles in this. Uh, like this is an unusual. Usually, your brother has to sort of steal them off the back of lorries because getting a license to buy them is quite difficult. Funnily enough. Um, that's odd. Uh, but yes. So you're. But she sort of organizes them all, helps him put away. Um, Also, like as you, she keeps on looking over at you. She's still not, and she like turns to Dien and say, "Who is he?" Uh, um, he's uh,
I
he's
cut him off there and just say, I'm just a friend of his. I help. sort of, he's a doctor, not a fighter. I just make sure that none of his patients give him trouble, that sort of thing. I'm sure you understand with your own practice that sometimes people can be a little bit tricky.
She looks you up and down. Uh, she's gonna judge intentions on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want you to make a composure roll. That's on your other info tab. On other info tab.
Other info tab. Okay, 1 second. That's that.
So right.
Oh, hang on, my thing's just gone into sleep. Let me get it back up.
Always the way.
Unless you have it in front of you.
The
It
roll.
might be quicker just while I get it. Well, yeah, just while I load this up, if you have it in front of you,
Oh
just
yeah.
to move
Oh
things along.
your composure roll is 11 dice.
11. Okay, that's good. I'll just roll those now. Four hits, one miss.
Okay. She's got. Hold on. Yeah, she's got a couple of levels higher than you. So she's making out that there's something not right with you, not right with what that sentence says. Um, you've put her guard up even further than it already was, if that's even possible for this rather small looking girl. Um, I need this from your mouth, Dien. Do you trust him? And instead of obviously responding with words because he just simply can't because he's just not functioning right now, he just gives a very solid nod. He's good. All right. Well, it's your practice, but you, what's your name?
My name is Jean.
Sean. I do prefer to call people by their actual names rather than twitchy hand guy. Um, keep this on the down low. It wouldn't do well for knowledge of drugs being passed, whether they're good or bad for the betterment of people or for not. It's generally not a good plan to speak of it or of the people who carry them.
Of course, of course.
I can tell this is not your only job. And she gives you a very knowing look. Um, when she caught you lying, her hair darkened a little bit. It's a little weird. Um, you also notice she's an elf when she pulls back her hair as well. So she's not the most ordinary of people. Um, but she turns to both of you and she looks between you two and goes, "All right, well, if you look for us, if you need us, look for this name." And she passes you a little card, and it's got all the details on it. You can either look at the card now or later.
I sort of have a quick glance at the cards just to sort of have a look at the name and then sort of put it away, and I ready my card to give to her. So,
Yeah.
So what do I see on the card?
You. It's a little bit of an odd card because it doesn't actually have the clinic on it. It's got the word Echo on it. And she said, and just the site for a very well-known runner haven on the internet. If you need me, just place the word Echo. Do you have a handle?
Not particularly, no. I don't really do much of that stuff. I'm a bit more old-fashioned. But I tell you what, if you ever need me, obviously you know where we are. You come here. But this is my card. It has a number and stuff. So that is the way you can reach me if you need me. But I should be able to go on and get this echo thing if I need you.
Mhm. Very well. Um, she turns to the brother and he's like, do you need anything in particular? You haven't had any uh you haven't had any curiosities passed your way, or like there's quite a lot of drugs around in like the south side and the west side, and in the army corps, of course, because those guys are always jacked up on something. See, no issues here. Your brother looks a little bit sheepish, but he's like, nothing, nothing I can't handle. And she nods and she goes, right, I will leave you two. Uh, she gives a very firm look to you, Jean. Uh, in a sort of knowingly not threatening, but a sort of almost like a handshake in eye contact. Um,
Hmm.
between us, right?
I just nod.
Good. Her hair, she lightens up. She gets a bit more. She less serious now, and her hair goes lighter purple. And she just straight up leaves without another word. Your brother is just stood there looking dumbfounded and just confused, and he's just looking at the door, just wondering, a how the hell how he's known, and he looks at you. Uh, uh, I didn't know that I was already known.
I didn't know that you already known. Had you treated anyone with a loud mouth recently, or?
I only once when I stabbed him with a scalpel, but I I don't know. I suppose maybe some of my customers might have said my name whilst you know getting due to surgery, but I don't know. He's,
Well, it's not a problem. It was going to be found eventually. It's just as long as we stick with the story, you are the doctor, this is your medical practice. I am but a humble friend who keeps a bit of security. Then people will not be able to link it back to me and my work.
what do you think of her?
Odd, odd little one. Uh, Not sure if I trust everything about her. Probably a little sneak thief for offloading some stuff. Maybe she will come back injured later and be like, I've given you this, give me some medical care. Maybe she is a medical person. I don't know. Don't lick a gift horse in the mouth. That's what I say.
Hmm. I thought that was the problems that I thought that was the problem. They didn't look the gift horse in the mouth, and thus they had problems. He smirks.
Perhaps. But you've had a look through. Nothing too untoward. Just stay safe, brother. You know to look after yourself and to make sure that you don't let anyone too dangerous in.
Hmm. Brother, I'm gonna give you something else. And he sort of almost with a resigned look stands up on one of his medical chairs and gets up to like one of the top shelves. And he throws down another inhaler at you. Get that thing a hell away from me. I
Thank
found
you,
it in the
brother.
house.
I take it off him and I just say to him, "Thank you, brother. Do you know how earlier I said that you still have a choice? This is you making the right choice. I'm proud of you."
He gives a little salute. He's like, right, Yeah. Okay. You need to sleep. You have job and people that you need to be social with. I now can't sleep, so I'm just gonna tidy up the entire house. I will try to be quiet. um,
Okay, brother. Okay.
he goes back into the living room, and you hear another log go on the fire. Um, and as you start to sort of head up to your bedroom and get ready for the night, we pan away to the the streets outside your house, where the young girl is making her way back to wherever she came from. Looking back at the house, uh, you, the anyone who would be close, which is nobody apart from our dear audience here, just hears the words, "Keep safe, Sean. Keep that brother safe." And there we finish for the night. Thank you everyone for joining
Ooh.
us for Shadowrun, The Road to Chaos. Um, Men Behind the Masks, as this mini series will be called. Um, so yes, good night. This will be put up on YouTube, just like all the other videos get put up on YouTube as well. Um, there will be a video going out next Friday or Saturday if it doesn't actually end up going out for whatever reason. Discord being a nightmare. um, and potentially another character will be joining us next week. Yes.
Ooh.
So see you again on the road to chaos.